What up, doe? What up, doe? What up, doe? We are back at it again with another episode of Lions 411. It's kind of turned into Lions and Pistons 411.
You know
Um,
it.
yeah, I mean, if the Tigers go far, it'll be Tigers 411, and if the Red Wings go far, it'll be Red Wings 411. We'll always look out for our teams, and even a little bit of Michigan, too. With that being
Michigan one
said,
name.
yeah, not for real. They the only team winning around here. With that being said, though, of course, I'm King Keith. You know where you can find me: Instagram, Twitter, _ Dr. King Stream. Some of the best takes out there, even if they're not appreciated. Go ahead, CB.
All right, world. We are back to talk about the Lions. We're gonna be talking about the Pistons a little bit. We eventually gonna be starting to talk about the Tigers. I know the Tigers are sliding in the division. We got some injuries. Yeah, I see your face.
The
I got
Tigers
some
are
concerns. Go ahead.
they. The Tigers are the Tigers, man. They do this every year. They're so they're just very weird. They're very strange. Baseball's a strange sport too, but they just are really good or really bad. It's never really any in between with the Tigers.
Yeah, we got a lot of games left. That's kind of going to be where we pivot next because the Pistons season is unfortunately over. So, of course, we're going to be talking about the Lions mostly. We are 411 Lions, Lions 411, whichever way, interchangeable, you want to say it. Where you can find us at, you can find us on 411 Lions on TikTok, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. We appreciate you, our Detroit listeners, our listeners from around the country. We got some people in Georgia, so shout out to y'all. Y'all must have used to live in Detroit, moved to Georgia, so I appreciate you, baby, for finding us. But we want to get started today because we've been gone and maybe a couple weeks. So we want to get started today. The preview is going to look like we're gonna talk about the Pistons for just a couple minutes. Obviously, we lost that big game 7 last night, and we are going to stick with our regularly scheduled program, talking about the Lions. The Lions just released their schedule. Now, this schedule release, y'all, was it wasn't a lot of social media play, and it wasn't a lot of, you know, fluff. It was titled Strictly Business, which I was happy that we just dropped the schedule Strictly Business because we finished last in the division. So, yeah, we don't need no fun stuff. We don't need no fun stuff media release when we release the schedule. So, further ado, Detroit Pistons. We lose at home. We lost by 31. It was a convincingly loss. It was a convinced loss. Like, we lost. It wasn't because of referees. It wasn't because of whatever. I know people are saying the fix is in. Maybe, maybe not. But Pistons fall to the Cavaliers. Unfortunately, our season is over. 125-94. What do you have to say about that, Keith?
I have to say that it was a bit embarrassing, not gonna lie. And maybe because I was in a unique position where I was actually out. I was at a potluck, my girlfriend's friend's potluck, and I specifically asked for the Pistons game to be shown at some point. And everybody was like, "Oh, that's so cool! Like that's your team." Most of them don't really care about basketball, and if they do, there was like a Knicks fan here or there, and they're like, "Well, we'll see who we're playing." Um, and as the night wore on, it was just like, "Oh, this is kind of sad." Yeah, just a horrible performance. It was strange that the Pistons picked basically their 100th game of the season to play their worst defensive game of the season. Um, yeah, just all around a bad performance. Again, like you said, the officiating and all that was a hot topic, and yes, it was horrible throughout the series. But last night it was on the Pistons. I don't know why they had such a horrible defensive game plan. The Cavs do get hot and they do make shots. They're very momentum based. They ride the hot wave when it's hot, and when it gets cold, you start to see the Cavs really struggle. And the Pistons never put the Cavs in a position where they were struggling last night. And um, yeah, it was just disappointing to see. I don't really like the way the Pistons' defensive coverages look like all postseason. I felt like other teams were very intentional with trying to take away Cade Cunningham. They would double him, they would trap him, they would do whatever when he's getting running off screens and stuff like that. For some reason, with Donovan Mitchell, the Pistons just let him get downhill last night, and him getting downhill either leads to him isolating and getting a good shot in the lane, um, hitting a step back for a three, or last night you saw him actually pass the ball pretty well, which is pretty surprising for Donovan Mitchell. So, um, yeah, they just kind of gave him space to operate, left shooters way too open, which they've also been doing all postseason now, and it finally came back to bite them. So, just a horrible, horrible defensive ball game. The offense really it did matter because they couldn't get stops. Um, the Pistons are a defensive team. If you play bad defense, you're going to lose the game. And yeah, they had their worst defensive performance of the season and the most important game of the season. So, great season overall as far as regular season accomplishments. We saw a lot of growth, but at the same time, I'm not really too upset that they won because I think that clearly changes do still need to be made. Upgrades do need to be made at some point this offseason. And if the Pistons had gone too far, I was a little concerned about them remaining stagnant and thinking that this roster was good enough to contend for a championship when in reality it just is not. There's not enough offensive firepower on this team. And I think that was pretty apparent in the middle of the season and it was very apparent in the postseason. I think specifically with Game 5 where the Pistons were up by 7 with 2 minutes left and the Cavs decided Kay Cunningham is not going to be the person to beat us. Somebody else has to beat us. Nobody else could beat them. So, yeah, the Pistons need to make changes in the offseason. They got to get more upgrades on the offensive end. And I'm glad that they will be able to hopefully realize that because what was frustrating about last night to me, and I know, you can't make too many assumptions and look too far forward to the future. The Pistons got a lot of bad matchups this postseason. They don't match up very well with Orlando, and they match up horribly with Cleveland. And I've been telling you this for months now that Cleveland is the team I don't want to see because they have 2 7-footers. The Pistons match up well with the Knicks, and I'm not saying they would have beat them, but if I had to guess, I think they would have beat them. And that's the most disappointing part is that this team probably, in my opinion, would have been playing in the NBA Finals if they had found a way to win Game 7 last night. They just do not match up well with Cleveland at all. And I am actually glad that they took it to 7 games, but last night was inexplicable because they lost based off of what their identity is built around.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. Yesterday, I would say in the first quarter, it felt really different for me. I had a feeling when I saw the team, I saw them throwing doubles at Cade. I saw the ISOs, I saw the double teams, and the team looked flat. Detroit looked very tired. And listen, I've been arguing with y'all. I'm not trying to make excuses, but Detroit has been battle tested. Obviously, with Orlando, we got battle tested. We got took to the brink with Cleveland. I'm going to give you your flowers. You did say that Cleveland was going to beat us. You said that, so your prediction was right. But yesterday, Cleveland, what they did right was number one, we did leave those shooters open. Murrow, at times Mobley, at times what Mitchell, the other 3-point shooter, number 2, I forgot his name. Forget you, Cleveland. But also, what they did right was every time Asar Thompson was in the area, Cleveland passed the ball. Now, compliment to us, but they did everything to get Asar away from the ball because anytime Asar is anywhere near that basketball on defense, you know it's a swipe, it's a steal, it's a block, it's some crazy athletic play. And I think Cleveland finally found that rhythm. Get Asar away from the ball. Asar was not by the ball a lot last night. And even one of the coaches sat up there and admitted it. I mean, they was moving that ball just the first quarter. What Donovan Mitchell had, 3 assists the first 3 drives? He was moving that ball. Every time Asar got by him, that was the game plan, and that was the difference maker also. Obviously, with the bigs, we know the situation with Dern, Stewart, Paul Reed trying to take on Allen, the last series, what Wendell Carter. We got the center situation, but I think what put them over the top was our fatigue, number one, and them moving that ball every time Asar got near the ball. They moved it. And they moved it really well. And like you said, Cleveland could get hot. And Cleveland, when they got open and when they moved that ball, they knocked down every shot. Now, it's a good season. We had 60 wins. We almost got to the Eastern Conference Final. I do thank the boys, but I think Cade and Asar are safe. Everybody else, I mean, we can have a conversation about, So You know, thank you, Pistons. You gave us a good series. You gave us a good Orlando series. You gave us a good Cleveland series. Game 7, obviously. Y'all looked tired. You looked flat. I mean flat. I'm like, dang, we looked bad last night. But it is what it is. We got some pieces to get together, and yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple things, and not to stick too much on the Pistons because I know that we want to talk about the Lions, but just a couple things that really came back to bite the Pistons that just weren't surprising. For one, the lack of shooting again, and specifically the lack of shooting at the 4 spot.
Mhm.
I love Tobias Harris. He was outstanding during his postseason, and he should, if ideally he could retire a Piston. We would love that. At the same time, as I've been saying, he's not the best fit for the starting lineup in particular, because the Pistons just don't have enough shooting. And once you weren't able to rely on him for 25 points a game, which is a bit unrealistic to expect for a full postseason, um, you started to see the struggles on the offensive side of the ball where he could not hit a shot last night, um, because you have been relying on him for so long, and he's matching up against Evan Mobley, who's a former Defensive Player of the Year. Um, Number two, though, from the defensive side of the ball, the Pistons do this thing similar to the Lions. It's very interesting, very similar to the Lions on defense, where they have such a strong belief in their individual players that they put them out on an island and they expect them to cover people who are tough to cover. And at some point, you gotta adjust your coverage. And similar to the Lions, the Pistons didn't do that. So they switched everything pretty much. Where again with Cleveland, when you see Cade Cunningham come off the screen, if they really are trying to slow him down, they trap him and force him to pass the ball to somebody else. The Pistons don't do that very often. If somebody's trying to switch to get Duncan Robinson guarding Donovan Mitchell, which is clearly a mismatch, the Pistons allow it. And as you said, they try to get a Star Thompson out of the play. For me, if you got a Star guarding Mitchell and he's trailing and he's coming off trying to get off the screen, I would trap him. And I know that when the Cavs made the pass last night, the Pistons didn't respond very well, but that I think was just uncharacteristic of them. I think they got to start doing more with trapping and things like that, because when you get Tobias Harris out on these matchups with James Harden, that is the issue. Then they drive to the rim, and the big man has to step up and help, and then those guys pass to the big man who was wide open. So, yeah, the Pistons do a very similar thing to the Lions, where they're like, mano y mano, our guy's going to stop your guy. We believe in him. And similar to when the Lions would do that with DJ Reed playing against Puka Nacua, you
What
might want to
team?
give DJ Reed a little bit of help. Not that he isn't good. We're not saying he isn't good. We're saying this is not a good matchup for him. This is how you lose the game: is letting their best players get one-on-one matchups. So the Cavs exploited that last night, and yeah, Pistons struggled to make a shot. Cade's 3-pointer had been great all postseason, and it finally kind of fell off a little bit last night. It happens. It happens. It just sucks that it happened in Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of fatigue going on, and K he ain't had much in the tank last night. He did not have much in the tank. He was slow getting back off of transitions. And like you said, when you put these players on the island, when they move that ball and you expect all of our quote unquote starting lineup to win those matchups, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen all the time.
Yeah, the roster just isn't there yet. It's not. And like you said, we got pieces to build around, and we got other complementary pieces who I think proved to be very valuable this year. But the Pistons need another central piece. They need another guy who can score 20 points a game. And because the rumors are already flying that they're interested in Trey Murphy from New Orleans and Lauri Markkanen from Utah and whoever it may be. I'm fine with all those moves if they upgrade the Pistons in the right way, but yeah, they're going to need more complementary pieces on offense, and I think they're going to need to find a way to cover any deficiencies on defense, if you're going to put specialized players like Duncan Robinson and Tobias Harris out there. But um, overall, a lot of growth. 160 games. Again, the leaders of this team were 22, 23, 21 years old. Um, so there's a lot of room for growth for sure. Just last night was very disappointing because, like we said with the Lions, again, when you get there, you get that chance and you blow it, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, we'll be back." Will you be back? Now in the NBA, it's a little easier to get back than it is in the NFL because you got a 7-game series. But um, Will you be back is the question. And I think the Pistons will, but they can't run this same roster back next year without a similar outcome. It's a second round roster.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like I said, when we look at the Pistons, it's more so who's our second best player. We know who our first is. We don't even have to talk about that. I mean, he gave you 39, gave you 40, 45, game 6 against Orlando. Him and Paul Reed started that comeback. Game 7, obviously, he went off in Orlando. We won 4 elimination games. So we know Cade is our best player, but who's going to be our second best player? We don't know. At any given night, could it be Jenkins? Could it be Duran? Could it be Tobias? Could it be Duncan? So we need, like you said, a consistent second best player.
Yes, at minimum, a consistent second best offensive player. At minimum, because Asar Thompson's defensive impact is so large, but
Oh yeah,
again, he's still Clay. He's still something that has to be worked on offense. And that 3-pointer he made last night looked pretty damn good. So there's something there to work with. But yeah, on offense, they need another person who you can give the ball to and be like, go get me a bucket.
yeah. Well, we'll be back next year. I think we'll make some aggressive moves. Hopefully. Um, yeah, we'll be back next year. I thank the boys, thank the Pistons. I went to a couple playoff games. They gave us a show. Hey, we lost game 7. Like they said, this one, flip a coin. You can Cleveland on one side, Detroit on the other side, and that's what it was. It was a coin toss. I mean, they both were 3-3. Game 7 was the decider, and that's what it was. It was completely a coin flip. So, hey,
Absolutely.
that we move on. So, transitioning. Detroit Lions release their 2026-2027 season schedule.
Hmm.
I know there's some little surprises. We're playing the Patriots. I said, oh, cool. We hadn't played the Patriots, what, 2018, 17, something like that. We have an earlier bye. Season ticket holders, some of them mad. Hey, we ain't gonna really cover that, but some of them are mad. We got a Germany game. We got what, 8 or 9 prime time games. So the NFL still loves Detroit.
Yeah, I think it's 8 nationally televised games, and 4 specifically in prime time. They consider prime time like nighttime, I guess.
Yep,
Um,
8:15.
yeah, but nationally televised, I think it's 8, including the home game, the home Germany game against New England, which is definitely one of the more interesting games. The last time we played New England actually wasn't that long ago, but I'm glad you blocked it out of your memory because it was a horrible, horrible game for the Lions.
Wait,
I want to say it was 2022 when they were actually starting to turn up, and they played New England, and I'm pretty sure New England shut us out. It was like 29-0. Um, yeah, it was in New England, and yeah, I think everybody just blacked that game out from their memory because it was a strange game for a lot of reasons. I'm not sure what your research is showing, but yeah, we got blanked by the Patriots like 3 years ago, and also one of our reserve defensive backs like broke his neck on like the first play, and it was just a very very weird game. He had to be like ambulanced off, like very very strange game against New England. So I don't blame you for forgetting that one because I love to forget that one.
okay, I stand corrected. So it was October 9th, 2022, not
Hmm.
2019.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Yep. It was 29-0.
Yeah, I remember that one very well. Such a strange game. They played well that season, but that game, like, they just New England wasn't even good either. Um, their defense was pretty good, but they weren't good, and they kind of beat us down. But that's is a completely different New England team. Um, might again be a completely different New England team if their head coach can't keep it in his pants. But um,
Miss.
to talk less about TMZ and more about the Lions, it is an interesting schedule. I don't know if you want to go game by game or if we just want to talk about some things that we find interesting. I'm excited to play the Panthers in Carolina. I feel like they don't do that very often.
I know. I would have liked to go to that game.
Yeah, they. It seems like they don't go there very often, but it seems like whenever they play Arizona, they go to Arizona. And again, they're going to Arizona. It's very weird. It's like some teams they don't play at home.
Yeah. Okay. So regular season, I would say we can kind of just run by week by week, because I know there's
Mhm.
a couple things to talk about. Okay. So week one, September 13th, that's the first game. The Lions open 1 p.m. against the Saints. That's our home game.
Yes, home
Yep,
opener.
our home game. Um, yeah, so we opened 9:13 against the Saints, 1 p.m., which I was a little surprised.
Yeah, the Saints are an interesting team to open the season against. I I have mixed feelings about that because the Saints are like a team that is starting to look like they might be getting it together, and so it's like okay, well maybe they will take to get some rhythm like later on in the season to really like get rolling. But also, what if they do have it figured out and we are the first team to learn that? I don't like stuff like that. Like this reminds me of when the Lions played the Jets that one year to open the season, and like everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna beat the Jets," and then the Jets like trashed us. To be fair, the expectations for the Lions were lower that year, but um, yeah, New Orleans is an interesting team. They're very interesting. They might
I'm
be really
sorry, who's
good.
their quarterback?
Tyler Shuck, second round pick out of Louisville last year,
Okay.
and he was one of the only rookie quarterbacks I want to say to have a pretty good season actually. And Chris Olave is there. Um, who did they pick in the first round? They took. Did they take a receiver? I think they took Jordan Tyson.
It might have been Jordan Tyson.
I think they took Tyson, so they might have some dynamic receivers down there. Um, they lost some pieces on defense though, so I mean, I think the Lions should be favored. They'll probably be favored pretty heavily in this game. Um, but yeah, we know that means nothing.
Okay, so we see a win, hopefully.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if I'm betting on it, I bet the Lions will win by a decent margin.
Okay, we move to week two. Now, this is more of a short week because remember, Sunday is our first game, 9:13. We come back Thursday, 9:17, 8:15, prime time. We are playing against the Buffalo Bills. Oh, damn. Oh, my damn.
You know, I don't. The Bills are. It's like one of those teams that has a lot of holes, and Josh Allen is just patching over all of them. Um, I don't know. I just don't think the Bills have a great roster. I think they have a great player. I don't find them scary. Going into Buffalo, this is going to be the first game at their new stadium ever.
Yep.
So it's going to be a tough environment for the Lions to play in. I could absolutely see them losing this game, but Buffalo does not scare me like on paper.
Well, they got DJ Moore. I know it's rumored they might get another receiver. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean their offense is. I think their offense is pretty good. They have a good offense for sure. Offensive line is decent. James Cook is a really good running back. I just think they can be scored on. I do, and the fact that we don't have to play them like in the snow unless it's snowing in September, which don't count anything out in Buffalo. Um, I don't know. I don't feel bad about this game. I mean, if they lose, they lose, and I think that is fine if they lose. But I could absolutely see the Lions winning this game. I call it 50-50.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Jared Goff and Allen might get into a shootout.
Yeah, because the Lions are going to struggle to stop Josh Allen. It just is what it is.
Yeah, you saw the last time we played them.
Oh yeah, that was a nightmare. That was rough. Yeah, I don't. Some people are penciling it that is in as a loss, and I'm not willing to go there. I'm not. Sorry. I think they can beat the Bills on the road.
Okay, so we pencil in a W.
I, again, I just don't. The Bills defense, like who on the Bills defense is like gonna like they don't have an excellent pass rush. They didn't do a ton in the draft. Their secondary is okay. I'm pretty sure they lost Teron Johnson this offseason. Like I just
Secondary is like middle of the pack, lower.
yeah, I don't think the Lions will have an easy time stopping the Bills from scoring, but I think the Bills will have a harder time stopping the Lions from scoring. It's like one of those 45 to 35 games.
Yeah, I think whoever has the ball last is gonna win.
I can see that too.
All right. So we pivot Sunday, 9/27, so September 27th,
Mm.
1 p.m. We are playing the Jets at Ford Field. Now, Lions, even though, but hold on, y'all. The Jets had a pretty good draft. Now, obviously, they weren't the worst team, or one of the worst teams. They had a pretty good draft. They got some defensive players, but I think that offense is going to struggle to score. I got us winning.
Yeah, I think the Lions are going to curb stomp the Jets here. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, Geno Smith, that quarterback, if he plays anything like how he played last year, yeah.
Okay, we can skip that one. All right, that's pretty much gonna be a win. All right, week 4, October 4th. So we get into October, 8:20 at night. All right, so we played Carolina Panthers, 8:20, October 4th, week 4, NBC, prime time. Who we got?
I'm not gonna lie. The Panthers. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit biased. They're like my second team. If I had to root for somebody else, I would root for them. Um,
Same.
I like what they did this offseason. They added pieces to the offensive line, though we did steal their center. But they added some pieces to the offensive line. They drafted a defensive tackle. Their defensive line is going to be scary. They signed Jalen Phillips. They got good corners. They got decent safeties. They drafted a deep threat in Chris Purcell.
Mm-hmm.
Ted McMillan was already pretty nice. Jalen Coker is very underrated. I like Bryce Young. I am a big fan of Bryce Young. Um, I don't know. I think it really depends on how Bryce Young plays against the Lions. If he has a good game, I think Carolina steals this one.
Yeah, I like Carolina. Obviously, our mom reps Carolina. Our sister is from Carolina, and I like Bryce Young. They did make the playoffs. They did do pretty good in the playoffs. Because they didn't lose that Rams game. I believe they lost to the Rams, right?
They did lose to the Rams, but it was very close.
It was very right. It was very close. They didn't lose. It wasn't no blowout. It wasn't no curb stop. So I can see us losing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see us winning too. I mean, Bryce Young is, as much as I like him, he's so inconsistent still at this point.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't play well, or if the Lions' pass rush is like up to par this year, I can see him having a tough game. They might struggle to run the ball against the Lions too, but um, the Panthers got a defense. They got a defense, and
Yes.
their offense is starting to come together. I like their head coach Dave Canales. Um, so if I'm penciling in, I think the Lions are more likely to lose against the Panthers than the Bills.
Okay. All right.
Matchups matter.
So we go to week 5, Sunday, 4/25, October 11th. We are playing Arizona Cardinals. Will be at the Cardinal Stadium, State Farm Stadium. I got us winning.
Yeah, me too.
Who they got as a quarterback? Jacoby Brissett?
It could be Jacoby Brissett. It could be I don't know if Gardner Minshew is down there. They drafted Carson Beck from Miami. I I mean Jacoby Brissett does he is like an irritant. He's kind of like a Jameis Winston type where he's going to air it out. And they got some receiving weapons, but I mean their defense is also pretty bad, and their offense isn't special. They drafted a running back, which like to me is stupid because you don't have a good offensive line.
Okay. All right. So we kind of both see a loss on that one.
A loss
Weeks.
to who? The Cardinals?
Right. The loss, the Cardinals losing. Not
Oh
us.
yeah. The Cardinals losing. I was about to say the Lions are not losing to the Cardinals.
No, no, no. Cardinals losing. All right. So we have week 6. Oh, snap. There's no game, guys. There's a bye. The bye comes early.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Now, some people are saying that they don't really like the buy being this early. It's the second earliest buy that you can get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it is what it is. I don't know. There ain't really nothing left to say.
Yeah, I mean it sucks more than it is good, but it's not as bad as I think people are making it seem. I think at least it allows for them to get a rhythm later in the season.
Yeah.
But and also they get a bye week before playing Green Bay, which is pretty nice because Green Bay they seem to struggle with. So I don't mind it, but it is way earlier than you would like for sure.
Speaking of Green Bay, the devil. So week 7, it is a 4:25 p.m. game, Sunday, October 25th. Remember, we get that bye, so we get a little more time off. We are playing Green Bay Packers at Ford Field. Now, week 7. This is the first week, guys, that we have a division game, which I was a little surprised that they waited till week 7 to give us division games, but
Mm.
whatever. Um, do we see a win or a loss, considering that Micah Parsons probably will be back?
Oh, excuse me. This feels like a game the Lions lose for no good reason. Um, they struggle against Green Bay. They struggle particularly against Jordan Love for whatever reason. Um, I will put this one down as a loss.
Yeah. So just to note, guys, if the listeners don't know, we lost both of our games to Green Bay last year.
Mhm.
Um, the first one I'll go a loss. I think we may lose this one, y'all. That damn Micah Parsons, that pass rush. If that offensive line is not looking good by week 7, our offensive line, we may have issues keeping Jared Goff off the ground or establishing our run game. So hopefully our offensive line looks good. I'm gonna gauge it about week 4, week 5, but
Mm.
I kind of see us losing this one. All right. So on to week 8. Another devil. Damn it, man. So we play the Minnesota Vikings November 1st at 1 p.m. We are at Ford Field again. Um, depending on, well, I don't care whichever quarterback they got, Kyler Murray or JJ McCarthy. I see a win, people. I see a win. We will win this game. I believe last year we split with Minnesota, right? I believe.
No, we lost both games to Minnesota too.
Did we?
Yep.
Oh, we won one. Okay. All right. We lost both games to Minnesota. I think the Lions will be looking to extract a little revenge. I see a win.
I do too. I don't think Minnesota is going to be very good this year. We'll see how Kyler Murray looks, or JJ McCarthy just comes out and surprises people. Um, they are one of those teams that just on paper are always carried more by their coaching than their actual players. Um, and I don't think that's going to be effective against the Lions this year. I think the Lions are going to be pretty good this season. So I would take the Lions in this game.
Picking the Lions. Okay. All right. So we go to week 9, Sunday, November 8th, 1 p.m. We play the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. So we'll be in Miami, November 8th. I see a win.
Curb stomp.
Yeah, Miami, they're kind of more so in the rebuild phase, I guess. I don't see us having much issue with that game. We better not. But I don't see us having much issue with that game. I see us winning.
The Dolphins are the worst team in the
Dang.
league. Yeah,
But tell us how you really feel.
they have Devon Achan, and yeah,
Nobody.
not a lot going on there. No.
All right. So we go to week 10. 7 days later, we play Sunday, the Germany game.
Yes. 9:30 Eastern time.
9:30. Okay. So yeah, we played the Patriots. Like you said, we hadn't played the Patriots in a little while, people. So this will be a tough game. Patriots did make the Super Bowl, but we know teams the year after the Super Bowl can be a little shaky. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like Cardi B, we going to the Super Bowl. We going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, another hot take. New England overrated. They shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl last year. They were only in the Super Bowl because Bo Nix broke his ankle the game before they played. They even struggled against Houston, even though C.J. Stroud threw like 13 interceptions in that divisional game. They had a last place schedule last year, which the Lions now have a last place schedule. New England has a first place schedule. I don't think New England's going to make the playoffs this year, and I don't
What?
think that they're going to be that good. I think they'll be like 7 or 8 wins.
Dang, tell us how you really feel.
I think they benefited a lot from that schedule last year, and even then, their margin of victory in some of those games were not good. I think Drake May's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't find their receiving options that impressive, though they might trade for AJ Brown. It sounds like, so that could maybe give them a little bit of a boost. But
And they might get Stephon Diggs back.
yeah. I mean, and that's cool. Those are good wide receivers, and you will have a decent pass game. I don't think their run game is that impressive. I don't. Their defense is goodish. It's fine. It's good. Um, I don't think New England is going to have a good season. I don't, and I don't know if the Mike Vrabel situation is going to affect anything. But if stuff keeps coming out about him at some point, it's going to get a little bit too embarrassing to keep him around. So yeah, they're a team to keep an eye out on for. I think the teams that lose the Super Bowl typically deal with the hangover anyway. So yeah, I don't think New England's going to be very good this year.
All right. Ooh,
So I
okay.
think the Lions are going to. I think the Lions are going to beat them by a nice amount.
Okay, so you see a win.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I see a win. I see a win too. All right. So week 11, Sunday, 11/22, November 22nd. We are playing 1 p.m. at Ford Field. We're playing Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Win.
I hate when they play Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I would say a win, a very nerve wracking last minute win,
Okay.
like a very unnecessary win.
All right. We go to week 12. The devil himself has showed up 4 days later. We are playing Chicago Bears at Ford Field. This is the Thanksgiving game, November 26th, 1 p.m. Chicago. We beat Chicago both times last year. I see a win. Ooh, we silent.
uh, I don't think they're going to beat Chicago twice this year. I don't know which game they're going to lose against Chicago, but I don't think they're going to beat them twice this year.
Okay.
This is a coin flip for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm gonna take the Lions because they did beat them twice last year, and they are playing at home. And they did last time they played the Bears at home. They beat them 52-10. So I'll
Okay.
take the Lions. I'll take the Lions in a nail biter.
All right, I'm taking the Lions. All right, so we move on to week 13. Mind you, we have 3 games that we play in December within 11 days. So week 13, 12/6, December 6th,
Mm-hmm.
1 p.m. We are playing in Atlanta. We are playing the Falcons. I'm sorry, who's their quarterback? I see a win.
Yeah, I mean that's a valid way to look at it. I think teams that don't have good quarterbacks just are going to struggle against the Lions. I think their defense is going to be a little more consistent this season. I also see a win. I also think the Falcons are going to be worse than people think.
Okay, worse. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. The Tua Michael Penix situation. I mean, I like Drake London, but like, how much can he carry a team? Bijan Robinson's pretty good. The defense is okay. Their star pass rusher that they drafted as a rookie like went to jail for a quite heinous crime that he shouldn't be allowed to play in the league anymore for. Yes, it's a little bit messy down there. Coaching is a little strange. I can see Atlanta having a really bad season.
Okay. All right, so we move on to week 14, 12/13, the day before my birthday.
Mhm.
December 13th, 1 p.m. We are playing in Ford Field. We're playing at home against Tennessee Titans. Win.
Yeah, yeah.
LA Bobby Styling over there. What you know?
When I think the Titans will look a lot better this year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish they Carnell Tate was a bit of a reach in the draft, but I'm glad they got Cam Ward some weapons. Cam Ward's going to be really good, and I think this game is going to be close.
Okay, I see a win. All right. So week 15, we move on to Minnesota Vikings. We play at their stadium, US Bank Stadium. 8:20 p.m. Excuse me. Primetime game 12:20. I see a loss.
Oh,
I see a loss. I think we'll be a little tired. I see a loss.
I don't. I don't think they're going to lose to Minnesota this year.
Really?
I don't think Minnesota's going to be very good. Um,
Yeah. See how the quarterbacks do.
yeah, exactly. I just don't see it with Minnesota this year. I don't, especially with the Lions having lost to them twice last year. I think they're going to be extra motivated to get back against Minnesota. So I don't think Minnesota. I think they're going to finish last place in the division. Um, and I think the Lions are going to beat them twice. I think the Lions' regular season record, clearly, as you can tell by how we're going through this, is going to be really good.
All right. Okay, so we move to week 16, 12:28. So December 28th, 8:15 p.m. This game will be on ESPN. This game is at home, Ford Field. We are playing the New York Giants. I don't know. I don't know.
You know, it is so interesting to me that people like really feel good about the Giants this year. I don't get it. I don't
What do
understand.
you mean? They drafted good. Dart coming back. Scatterbull coming back. Malik Neighbors.
Okay, so they drafted good. Let's break that down. They drafted Arvell Reese, who is a linebacker who they want to be a pass rusher, but is a little bit raw as a pass rusher. They also have a ton of pass rushers, so I don't know how they plan to use Arvell Reese yet. I don't know if they know how they're going to plan to use Arvell Reese yet. I think he's going to be a good NFL player eventually. I don't know if he's going to show out this season. If they use him as an off-ball linebacker, I think that's his best way to get on the field right now. Second first-round pick was a guard, which good for them that they're supplementing the offensive line a little bit. But that guard has also played tackle for most of his time in Miami. So drafted good, yes. I think they drafted two projects. I don't think Jackson Dart has shown me much as a passer. And he likes to run, and he gets hurt very easily. I'm assuming John Harbaugh is going to try to taper that down a little bit and force him to be more of a pocket passer. But then at that point, is he a good pocket passer? Because we do not know that. Um, I like Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors could be one of the best receivers in the league. I think their defense front seven is good.
Good.
Yeah, very good front seven. Though they did trade Dexter Lawrence, which was not. It was a good move for them to get the draft pick, but they're going to miss him a lot. So I don't see the Giants as like this rebound playoff team. I think they'll improve, but I think they'll win 6, 7 games.
What? I got them in the playoffs.
You got the because of who? Who's going to lead them to the playoffs? Who on their team?
Scatterbull and Neighbors. What you mean? And they got a good
Scatterbull.
enough defense.
We got to stop with this Scatterbull thing. He's popular, like he's a famous player because he like runs his head into walls, but he's not all that.
I like what I see with him.
He's a power running back who is coming off of a substantial leg injury. His leg was mangled.
I saw the game. Yeah, it was.
So speed already as a guy that's not very fast, speed is reduced. He's a power back. He's going to try and run through people. He ain't that big either. I don't find Scatterbull to be this dangerous threat. Malik Neighbors is by far the best player on that offense.
It's Malik Neighbors. Yes, he's the best player, and Malik Neighbors is nice.
Yeah, and Malik
If
Neighbors
that
has.
Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors connection comes together, which it
Will it?
I think it's going to be a coin toss. I don't
Jackson
necessarily
Dart,
got this penciled in.
Jackson Dart got to get him the ball, is the thing. And I don't think Jackson Dart has shown anything that makes me think, oh, he's going to be special. I think he can be fine. But he relied really heavily on running last year, which is just not going to be successful for him in the future.
And they hit the shit out of him on the sideline. I said,
Yeah. He's injury prone. He's proven to be injury prone already. Scatterbo, injured in his first year. Malik Neighbors now is also coming off an ACL tear. All three of your best young players are coming off of major injuries.
Harbaugh gonna get them boys together. I think they got the talent.
Harbaugh had a way better roster in Baltimore and could not get them into the playoffs.
Bruh. Lamar Jackson was injured last year.
That roster was excellent, even outside of Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, that quarterback, he couldn't even barely move. He had a back injury.
So what are you gonna do when Jackson Dart got a concussion?
He not, he not gonna get a concussion, man.
If he continues to play the same way he is, he's going to.
He gonna
I
switch
don't.
up. What I've seen from Jackson, Scatterbull, Malik, I think they could put that together. I think they could be a 9 or 10 win team.
They can. I don't think they will. I
All
don't see it.
right.
I don't see it. And the Lions are at home. Yeah, no, big win.
All right. We gonna come back to this one, week 16. We gonna come back to this video.
The pass rushes, they're saving grace, and they, to me, got rid of their best pass rusher, Dexter Lawrence.
I
So
mean, yeah, but they drafted number one. I think the draft and their offseason signings were decent. And shit, we had to beat them in overtime. We didn't exactly
that's
curb
because the
stomp them.
Lions played a horrible game, and they were throwing like flea flickers and random nonsense. Uh uh
All
Yeah.
right, we gonna come back to that one. All right, so week 17, we move into the new year, January 3rd, Sunday, 4:25. We are playing at Soldier Field. We are playing the Chicago Bears again. Ugh, throw up. Um, I see a win.
I got a loss.
Goodness
Chicago,
gracious.
Chicago's playing for their life here. I think they need to win this game, and I think the Lions only have 2 or 3 losses by this point.
Okay, you see a lot. All right, now last game is to be decided, but the last game will be at Lambeau Field against the devil himself, Green Bay Packers. I don't know about this
FTP, Lions win. I think they split with the Bears and the Packers, and I think they lose on the road to Carolina. Um,
Okay, so what's going to be our record? So guys, we went over all the games, week 1 through 18. What do you think our record would be, King Keith?
14-3.
14-3?
14-3. Split
We
with
win
the
in the division?
Yes, split with the Packers and Bears, lose on the road to Carolina.
Dang.
Now,
Came up with that pretty fast.
does that mean that they are going to win the Super Bowl? Not necessarily. I just think this last place schedule is going to do the Lions a lot of favors. Playing the Titans, playing the Falcons, playing the Dolphins, playing the Jets, playing the Cardinals, playing the Saints. Like, it's a lot of. I don't want to call it. No games are easy.
Yeah, no games are guaranteed, guys. These are just predictions.
I think the Lions are going to be better than last year for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I like the fact that they might have a pass rush opposite Aiden Hutchinson, which is a really big deal. I think the safety play is really going to say a lot if those guys are back and healthy at some point in the season. Um, but I think the run game is going to come back a little better, a little more consistent. I like the fact that they legitimately invested resources in the offensive line to the point where they have starters and they have depth on the offensive line. Pacheco, I think, is fine. I think that he's an okay Montgomery replacement. He's not as good, but I think that he can be capable. And I think he'll make some big plays and he'll be a fan favorite. But I really think that the pass game is going to excel this year. I think in particular, we'll see as we get closer to camp, but I think a big breakout for Jameson Williams, like a legit breakout this year, is coming. I think the Lions are going to be really, really hard for people to stop on offense.
All right, so those are our predictions. I got us winning 12. I got us winning 12 games. I think it'll be between, I think, us and Green Bay if Michael Parsons stays healthy. If Michael Parsons is healthy, I think it'll be between us and Green Bay for the division, but I think both of us will make the playoffs. Hell, I think Chicago will probably make the playoffs again.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is Chicago and Green Bay will probably be both fighting for playoff spots. I can see them both getting in. I can see them both missing it, whatever it may be. But I think they'll both be on the fringe of like a wild card spot. But I think the Lions with this last place schedule just, um, I think it just does them so many favors to the point where you look at the truly tough games. Both games against Chicago, both games against Green Bay, game against Buffalo, game against Carolina, uh, and New England. I feel like if you can split those, go 3-3 in those games, you know, I think the rest of the games look pretty winnable. Maybe 13-4. Maybe they drop one to somebody they shouldn't, or maybe they lose to Minnesota at some point during the season. But yeah, I think the last place schedule is going to do them a lot of favors. I just wonder, does that hold up in the postseason when they get matched up against the Rams, the Seahawks, teams that they are not playing, the Eagles, the Cowboys? You know,
Yeah, yeah, because
they're
the Cowboys they coming, they coming, they rebuilding that thing. But is there a game on your schedule that the Detroit Lions play this season that's circled? Who do you want to see us beat the most? I got my game.
you say yours first. I want to see your answer.
Okay, so considering that we lost both times and in the division, Green Bay.
Mm.
Green Bay. The first time we played Green Bay, baby, I got it circled and we better win that thing.
I feel you. That is the game that I think would give me the most pleasure of them winning. It's really both of them, but especially that first one at home.
Week
Uh,
7.
yeah, which is the one that I think, funny enough, we both have them losing. Um, I am going to say the game against Buffalo because I think so many people are like, "Oh, well, Buffalo's tough. Buffalo's really good. It's their first game at the stadium. Like you could pencil that in as a loss." I think if the Lions win that game, that says a lot about them. And I think that will foreshadow what type of season this is going to be. Because again, I think on paper they can beat them. I think they have a better team on paper. And they're playing Buffalo when it's not Buffalo weather, which is also a good advantage for the Lions. So yeah, I think that game would speak volumes to what kind of team we're working with. Because I think that if they can contain Josh Allen, not stop him, but just kind of contain him a little bit, force him into some 3-and-outs or something. Um, they could win that game pretty handily. And if they go into Buffalo and make that statement, I think that puts everybody on notice. Oh yeah, this is that same 15-2, Lions team that we just had a couple years ago, 12-5, pushing for the NFC Championship game. That kind of team is back. They should not go into Buffalo and just get wrecked and then be like, oh well, it's because we were playing Buffalo in a row. Like that's a hard game. No, they need to go in there and they need to beat them.
So you got Buffalo circled as your game you want to see on your calendar. I got Green Bay week 7 circled on the game that I want to see on my calendar. Guys, you tell me how you guys feel. What game do you have circled on your calendar? This pretty much wraps up this episode. I'm thinking next episode we can kind of break down the Lions depth chart, what we got so far, each
Mm.
position, each player. Are we happy with what we got? Or should we get some more? Should we sign somebody? Things of that nature. So, yeah, that was pretty much this episode. We will see you probably next week. Probably in a couple days. Um, yeah, you can follow us on 411 Lions. You can listen to us on our TikTok page, our YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can listen to 411 Lions, CB, King Keith. Peace.
Peace.